Hello, listeners. This is the 8th episode of CHS Radio, and I'm your host, Victoria. Welcome new and old listeners to CHS Radio. If this is your first time listening, you'd probably like to know a little bit more about us. Well, we're a podcast produced by students at Calvert Education, here to educate you, keep you up to date on teen issues, and maybe make you laugh a little bit along the way. In this episode, we have a bit of a New Year's treat for you all, as well as a very special guest. Without further ado, let's jump right into the episode. Hope you enjoy. First up, as always, we have our much-needed announcements.
Hello, listeners. Time for some announcements. First off, January 31st is Backwards Day. The Calvert staff has something exciting planned for us students, so keep an eye on Edmodo for more details. Secondly, Cohort A should be finishing up Semester 1 this month. If you are in Cohort B or C, then you shouldn't be far behind. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
In this episode of CHS Radio, we will be joined by a very special guest and musician, Ashley Maire Lewis. We are honored to have you here as a guest, Ms. Lewis, and thank you very much for joining us. Hear more from Ashley Maire Lewis, interviewed by Raquel, up next.
Hello everyone, this is your interviewer Raquel, and this month I am joined by another incredible guest speaker who is not only a singer but also an actress, Miss Ashley Maire Lewis. It's absolutely amazing to have you on here, and thank you so much for coming.
I'm so humbled and so honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. So I suppose we'll just dive right into my first question on the list. What was your first job as an actress, and what role did you play?
My first job I actually got last year. It's been a dream of mine to do this ever since I was little and never had the opportunity. But things started popping up for me, thank God. I'm very grateful. And my first job was actually a national Nike commercial that featured LeBron James.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I'm a diehard Lakers fan, so I had to pretend to be a Cavs fan for 3 days while we filmed.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it was a great experience. It was so much fun. We went all over the city of Cleveland, and I met amazing actors, and it made lifelong friends, and it was just a blast.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So I was being super professional, and I actually learned a little bit about you before this interview. I saw that you worked both on camera and in the theater. So if you had to say, how are the vibes between these two different?
Actually, the theater that I did was actually just school plays. It wasn't your typical, like big theater shows.
Oh, okay.
It's actually something that I don't have much experience in, but I've heard it's amazing. And the actors that I've talked to that do both, they say you can't really compare the two. They both have their own uniquenesses about them, and you just have to experience them to understand, I guess.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, what has been your most enjoyable song to perform, and why?
Wow, my most enjoyable song. I think I'd have to say I'll Stay Gone. It's one that I wrote. I was going through some really hard times at work, and I tell this story all the time. I kind of pulled a Taylor Swift and wrote some songs about my bosses. And that one was basically, kind of overcoming the obstacles that I was facing and kind of saying, hey, look at me now. Yeah. I kind of miss you, but I don't need you anymore, and I'm moving on. So that one, it always brings tears in my eyes when I sing it, because I really feel my lyrics because I live them. And so that one, I think, is the most enjoyable to perform.
Amazing. That's the best kind. Yeah. So how do you overcome stage fright when performing?
Everyone thinks I'm so weird. I actually never get stage fright, ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how I lucked out. I'm not complaining about it, but yeah, I mean, honestly, the only time that I get any type of nervousness is when I'm performing the national anthem, because that one you have to do so precisely, and one accidental mistake is gonna destroy you. So that's really the only time. But I mean, when I'm doing 4-hour shows or any shows, I don't get stage fright at all.
I envy you on that, but that's a lucky trait to have. But yes,
you just have to go out there and say, hey, this is my dream. I'm going to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it kind of makes everything else go away.
Yeah. So, if you could dabble in another genre of music, what would it be?
I actually just recorded a song a couple weeks ago with a new hip-hop artist. Well, he's kind of new to me. He's been around for a while now, but he's local from Youngstown, Ohio, and his name is King Tut the Don. And hip-hop has always been really special to me for some reason. I've always been into that genre, and so that was actually the one genre that I've always wanted to get into, and I actually just had the opportunity. So that single is actually going to be coming out in the next week or two. It's called No Ordinary Love, and it's a tribute to, I believe she's from the 80s, an 80s artist named Sade, really talented. So we kind of sampled her song and put some hip-hop vibes into it. So
That
definitely hip-hop, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone should definitely go check that out.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So what influenced you the most when writing your album So Much More?
I actually have 4 songs on that album that I wrote. The other ones were pitched to me by incredible songwriters nationwide. There were some from Nashville, some from California. And basically it's just my life experiences and things that I related to. The title track, So Much More, basically is about this young girl with dreams that are bigger than her, and she's trying to find a way to live them. And that's been me ever since I was little. And I said the first time I heard this song, I have to make it my own. And luckily, they gave me the permission to record it and distribute it. So basically, the inspiration was just from experience and things that told my story. So that's how I chose them.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a very good song. The best kind of songs that I ever listen to are sort of based on that experience that songwriters have.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to explain myself here.
I totally understand.
Yeah. So this is a fun question that I like to ask, and I'm always really curious about. Is there anything that you do that gets you into a creative state of mind when you start songwriting?
Not really. I mean, they just kind of come to me. Sometimes, I'll go a few years without writing songs, and then sometimes, I'll be sitting there and a melody pops in my head, or, some lyrics pop in my head, and then I just start jotting them down and go from there. But, I mean, I find inspiration in a lot of things. I find it in people, I find it in events, and basically just, again, experience is what kind of inspires me to write.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So awesome. That's pretty much it with the basic interview questions. However, I wanted to keep you a little bit longer with a sort of game that I came up with.
For sure.
Yeah. Not sure how it'll work out since this sort of is the first time that I'm attempting it, but I thought we could give it a shot.
Yeah, let's go for it.
The whole point of the game is sort of that I say one sentence and then you finish it with something specific to you. Sort of like, I would say, my favorite flower is, and then you would finish with your preference.
Mine is definitely blue carnations.
Ooh, awesome.
I don't know if that was a question, but...
No, not quite, but it's
I figured I'd use your example anyway to get it kicked off.
Definitely. So if I weren't singing or acting, I would be...
Working on an ambulance. I'm actually an EMT. I've been an EMT for almost 11 years, and that was kind of my dream since I was 11, and I followed it through and kind of put it aside for the time being, just to kind of work on the music and acting. But definitely, if I wasn't doing my entertainment stuff, I would definitely be back on the ambulance.
Super interesting. So if I could have any pet, it would be?
Hands down, a monkey.
Great choice. If I could go back in time, I would...
Duet with Michael Jackson.
That's a good answer, too.
That was a dream of mine, too, but...
Yeah.
He was amazing. So yeah, I would definitely go back and have an opportunity to perform with him.
Yeah. If I could travel anywhere in the world, I would...
Go back to Los Angeles. It's my favorite place on earth. Los Angeles and New York City. They're my 2 favorites, so definitely LA.
Awesome. So now for the super difficult finale. If I could choose one song to listen to for the rest of my life, it would be...
Oh my gosh. Wow, there's just so many. I don't know if I could pick just one.
That's true. Yeah.
It would definitely have to be one that really inspires me, and there's quite a few of those.
Yeah. Sure. So, I guess we've reached the end of our interview for today. Thank you so much for lending us your time and everything.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and be sure to check out, I'm on Facebook and iTunes, facebook.com/Ashley Maire Lewis Music, and Twitter @AshMarieLewis. Then iTunes, just search my name or go to itunes.com/Ashley Maire Lewis. Look me up. Let me know what you think. Honest opinions. I'm all for whether you like it or don't like it. Let me know. Just check it out, and hopefully you'll jump on board as a fan. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me today.
Sure, yes, it was super nice to talk to you, and I hope you have a really great rest of the day and everything.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
It's a sad time of the year in the TV world. All your shows seem to have ended or have taken that dreaded mid-season break. But don't fret, there are still other shows playing and in full swing while some of your favorites take some time off. You might even find a new favorite. Up next is the TV segment, chocked full of information about cancellations, mid-season breaks, and finals, with Rachel.
Greetings, fellow TV addicts. I'm Rachel, here to welcome you back to CHS Radio's TV division. Want to know what got renewed, what's new, and what didn't meet its New Year's resolution? Settle down and brace yourself, because you're about to find out. As always, we'll start with the bad news, and my, how the bad news grows. First up might just be the worst of all. Cedar Cove was cancelled by Hallmark after 3 seasons. Bitten will be concluding after its 3rd season, which will be airing on Sci-Fi. CBS's comedy Mike and Molly was cancelled after 6 seasons. Agent X was cancelled by TNT after its 1st season. TNT's drama Legends was cancelled after 2 seasons. TNT is so not feeling the love today. It cancelled its new cop drama Public Morals after only 1 season. And finally, NBC cancelled Neil Patrick Harris's new variety show Best Time Ever. And now we will move into the good news. HBO's The Leftovers was renewed for a 3rd and final season. The Blacklist starring James Spader was renewed by NBC for a 4th season. Homeland was renewed by Showtime for a 6th season. Amazon renewed Red Oaks for a season 2. Matt Dillon's new series Wayward Pines will be returning to Fox for a 2nd season. Crackle's drama The Art of More will be back late next year with a 2nd season. Grace and Frankie, a Netflix original comedy, was renewed for a 3rd season which is set to air in 2017. Amazon's drama Hand of God was renewed for a 2nd season. NBC ordered 5 additional episodes for its new drama Chicago Med. Major Crimes, a spin-off of The Closer, was renewed by TNT for a 5th season. Showtime renewed The Affair for a 3rd season. Amazon renewed its new show, The Man in the High Castle, for a 2nd season. And to save the best for last, TNT's fantasy drama The Librarians was renewed for a 3rd season. Now, let's move on to the new shows. CBS's new comedy Angel from Hell is set to premiere on January 7th. It follows the friendship of a woman and her outspoken guardian angel. Not sure yet? The 2 main characters are played by Maggie Lawson and Jane Lynch. Get sure. Now, you Mortal Instrument fans out there have probably already heard, but January 12th will see the release of ABC Family's television adaptation of the series called Shadowhunters. TV Land has a new comedy coming out on January 13th called Teachers, which follows a group of elementary teachers. Just a reminder, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, the Arrow and Flash spinoff, will be premiering on January 21st. This one will include a number of familiar characters, including Firestorm, White Canary, the Atom, Heatwave, and of course Captain Cold. Brought together by a time traveler named Rip Hunter, played by Arthur Darvill, they must try to stop the immortal Vandal Savage from destroying the world. Before we get into the important news, I figured it was worth mentioning that ABC Family is in the process of changing its name to Freeform so it can target a larger audience. Whoa, alright, we've got some new info on the Gilmore Girls revival. According to a hint from Michael Asiello, one of the 4 main characters, Lorelai, Rory, Emily, or Luke, will be getting a new love interest. Not comforting news for us die-hard Luke and Lorelai fans out there. Danny Strong, who played Doyle, mentioned that he would be more than excited to return to the show. In light of the recent cancellation of Melissa McCarthy's latest project, Mike and Molly, fans are beginning to question whether or not she'll take this opportunity to reprise her role as Sookie St. James. And for a final bit of news, they've already started building the sets for the show. Alright, now it's time to get into the rec. This month I'm actually going a little out of the box to recommend something that seems innocent and unsuspecting, but in the end rips your soul into tiny little pieces. Over the Garden Wall is a 10-episode miniseries that aired on Cartoon Network. It's about two brothers, Wirt and Greg, that find themselves lost in the woods. The show follows their journey as they try to find their way out of the unknown, meeting friends and enemies alike along the way, and trying to find a way to stop the beast. I know that there are plenty of people out there who consider cartoons to be for kids, but those people are sorely mistaken. Unless it actually is for kids. Over the Garden Wall is unassumingly innocent at first, and you expect it to be a fun show, but no! It gets dark. And I don't mean graphically dark, because it did air on Cartoon Network. I mean the little hints and background concepts that make you freeze and stare at the screen in fear. If you take a moment to really contemplate the meanings of the people, events, and places in the show, you might never be the same again. Do not underestimate it, for it will ruin your life. Plus, Wirt is voiced by Elijah Wood, and Greg is the actual most adorable thing on earth. So you should watch Over the Garden Wall immediately. Right now. Why aren't you watching it yet? Well, that's it for me. If you'd like to recommend a show for me to watch, or if you need someone to fish you out of the unknown, you can find me at chsradio.tumblr.com/ask. Plus, if you want to keep an eye on my unhealthy TV habits, you can add me on followmy.tv as Dragonlord. Catch you next time, guys, and Happy New Year!
Campaigns for the 2016 U.S. presidential elections have been going on for months now, and it's just now 2016. Without a doubt, we are already knee-deep in election season, and with the actual elections getting closer and closer, the more important it becomes to know all about the candidates. Because we are so interested in the elections, CHS Radio presents you Campaign Brain, the honest and unbiased info on what's going on in the elections, with Olivia, which is up next.
Hello everyone, this is Olivia here for yet another exciting segment of Campaign Brain. Today I'm going to expand on something we did last month. I have a couple issues with two opposing candidates for each, and we are going to see what they have to say. Let's jump right in, shall we? First up, I have a very interesting issue in the form of veterans care. We are going to look at Marco Rubio and Bernie Sanders' positions on this up-and-coming issue. Marco Rubio has 3 key actions he would like to make as president. He wants to provide veterans education in a flexible and up-to-date manner. He believes this will help veterans have better opportunities once they leave the service. Rubio also wants to pressure the VA, also known as Veterans Affairs, to provide top-quality care to all veterans. Finally, Rubio wants to strengthen the military by ensuring that all service members have proper training. In addition, he would like to modernize veterans' pensions and compensation. Bernie Sanders has similar yet different actions he would take as president. First, he would expand and fully fund the VA so that every veteran gets the care they need. Next, he would improve the system that processes compensation claims. Finally, Sanders would expand veterans' mental health services and make compensated dental care available. We have a breaking news alert, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. Lindsey Graham and George Pataki are ending their presidential campaigns. Thank you for listening to this breaking news alert, and enjoy the rest of the segment. Okay, let's move on to the next issue for today, which is one you hear about in the news a lot: immigration reform. Our candidates are both leading their pack, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton has a long, complicated plan for this issue, but I can sum it up for you. First, she wants to make an easier path for immigrants to become full, equal citizens. Next, Clinton wants to end family detention and close private detention centers. This leads into the fact that she wants to do everything she can to protect immigrant families from separation and deportation. Finally, Clinton wants to make sure all families have access to affordable health care. Donald Trump takes a very different view on immigration. He wants to erect a wall across the Mexican-American border. Trump wants to make American citizens a priority, giving jobs to them first and returning criminal aliens, as he calls them, back to their country. Finally, he wants to end birthright citizenship and deport all illegal immigrants. Alright, listeners, time for this edition's poll numbers. For this segment, I'm going to switch things up a bit and use the most recent USA Today poll. In the Republican Party, Donald Trump is hanging on to his lead with a 27%. We have a new second place holder in the form of Ted Cruz with 17%. Lindsey Graham and George Pataki are tied for last place with a 0%. Moving on to the Democrats, Hillary still has a clear lead of 56%. Bernie Sanders has a 29%, and Martin O'Malley is still in last with 4%. Well, that's all for this segment of Campaign Brain. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about the candidates' opinions on issues. See you guys next time.
If you didn't know, CHS stands for Calvert High School, and CHS Radio is run by students from Calvert High School. At our school, there are definitely some pretty talented people in a variety of different medias. In this episode, we'd like to highlight some of those amazingly talented writers who are students at our school by reading some of their works in this episode, which is coming up next.
Hello there, listeners. This is Raquel with the Students Writing segment. First of all, I would like to say that I hope everyone had a fantastic winter break, and that I have an amazing piece of writing to set off the new year. Both heartwarming and heartbreaking, today's fascinating selection, titled The Story of My Life, was sent to us by Fatima. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Dad, where are you taking her? I yelled over the truck's coughing engine. We'll be back, Zara. Tend to the younger ones, he shouted through the broken window as he drove past me. I ran back into my house, closing the door behind me as though it would shed away the problems that had risen so suddenly in my family. Mustafa and Soad, 10 and 8 respectively, the two eldest after me, were at my aunt's house visiting, and I, only 12 years old then, was left to take care of 5-month-old Aza, 2-year-old Majid, and 5-year-old Rama alone. As I entered the room I shared with my 3 sisters, I found Aza sleeping peacefully alongside Rama, the 2 young innocent girls unaware of my worries about Mom, who had just been diagnosed with stomach cancer. When she came home that sorrowful day from the doctors, I was shocked to hear the painful news and remained in disbelief. I prayed the doctors were wrong and that Mom had something less severe, and yet the more I thought of it, the more I began thinking the doctors were right. Mom had all the symptoms of stomach cancer. I interrupted my depressing thoughts by watching Majid play on the cold cement floor with his toy truck my uncle had brought him from America. He made silly noises with his mouth to imitate my dad's old truck, and made me giggle for a moment, forgetting about Mom's sickness. Taking my mathematics book, I sat down, trying to focus my mind on it, and yet I was unable to when I recalled Mom's tired face as she climbed into the truck. Previously, my caring Mom and I would sit together in our yard under the refreshing shade of the sweet-smelling orange tree and work out math problems together. Now, everything had turned upside down. My Mom was no longer able to complete the simplest of chores before she turned pale and had to sit down in pain. And as I wondered whether we would ever be able to share more of these beautiful memories, the painful reality struck me like a merciless sharp knife. Hot tears streamed down my cheeks as I buried my face into my math book, letting out a sob. Little Majid came over, placing his small hand on my shoulder, clearly puzzled at my sudden sobbing. "Where Mom, and why Zara cry?" he questioned. Taking the little boy into my arms and hugging him protectively, I remained unable to explain to him what was really happening to Mom. How could you explain to a young boy that he was going to lose his loving mother in a matter of days? How would it be possible to explain to his young mind that he would soon be left all alone in this world, uncared for? It was impossible, and thinking of my poor younger siblings who were about to face the biggest struggles of their lives, I cried even harder. That was the last time for my Mom to be at our house. Since then, she stayed at her parents' home, which was about an hour away, where she could be taken care of and not worry about the endless housework. We were able to visit her every few days and still feel her love, exchange with her our stories at school, and how we felt, yet it didn't feel the same as when she was living with us. It was the next month that, when I came into Mom's room, I knew something was terribly wrong and was going to lose her. I will never forget what she looked like. Her face, once beautiful, radiant, and always smiling, was now pale with pain, weak and exhausted. She had lost much weight since her illness and lied exhausted under the blankets. My dad sat at her bedside, crying, knowing that soon he was going to be parted with his wife. I walked slowly towards Mom with a heavy, aching heart and fighting back my tears. She held me close to her, enveloping me in her warm hug, and whispered in my ear, "My strong Zara, take care of your father and siblings. Pray to God he will always be there, watching you, protecting you. My beautiful, brave girl. Don't worry. We will meet in a better place." My heart seemed to stop beating when I saw Mom take her last breath. I ran to her bedside from tending little Aza, crying, "Mom, come back, please, come back, Mom." Yet she was gone, unable to hear my sobbing. Watching my siblings gather around her with wide eyes almost broke my heart. I choked on my tears, no longer able to hold them back. I could not believe that she had left us. Our real struggles would now begin. Well guys, though there is much more of this amazing story left, that's where I'll stop for today. Come back next month to listen to the next part of Fatima's writing, The Story of My Life. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope to see you next month.
This episode is the first episode of the new year 2016. So Happy New Year, everybody! I encourage you all to stick to those New Year's resolutions. In celebration of this new year, the CHS Radio team and several special listeners have banded together to wish you a Happy New Year from all over the world. Happy New Year, all!
Frohes neues Jahr.
Bon année.
سال نو مبارک.
لشنا tova.
كل عام وانتم بخير.
قفني دور.
It's a new year. What does that mean for music, you ask? Well, a whole new year of music, of course. And I'm excited for what artists are planning to release this year. Plus, it's a great time to rewind a little bit and find some of those old tunes, too. Up next is the Music Corner with Rachel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to CHS Radio's Music Corner. I'm your host, Rachel. Whether you listen to Coldplay, The Cab, or Camila Kerslake, I'm here to give you the latest news from the music world. Not only is it a new year, but it is a new day. 5 new days, in fact. And with a new year, a new day, and dare I say a new month, there comes new music. So close your eyes and open your ears and prepare yourself for this month's new releases. KSI has a new album coming out on January 1st called Keep Up. David Bowie is releasing Black Star on January 8th. Believe it. Lo-fi garage band Heinz is releasing Leave Me Alone on January 8th. Ignite has War Against You, and Villagers has Where Have You Been All My Life. January 15th will see the release of Daughters' Not to Disappear and Hank William Jr.'s It's About Time. Oh, and in case you forgot, Panic at the Disco's new album Death of a Bachelor is also coming out on January 15th. January 22nd is the day, apparently. Aiden Knight kickstarts the releases with each other. The Besnard Lakes have a Coliseum Complex Museum coming out on January 22nd, and Lionheart has Love Don't Live Here. Kate Brennan's debut album Debutante will be released on January 22nd. Conrad Keeley, lead singer of And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead, is setting up his solo career with Original Machines on January 22nd. Eleanor Friedberger releases New View, and Megadeth releases Dystopia, both on January 22nd. Elliot Sumner has Information coming out on January 22nd, and Half Japanese has Perfect. January 22nd will also see Mystery Jet's album Curve of the Earth, Santigold's album 99 Cents, and Savage's album Adore Life. Shearwater has Jet Plane and Oxbow on January 22nd. Steve Angelo releases Wild Youth, and Steven Wilson releases 4.5 on January 22nd. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. I think it might be excitement. Suede is releasing Night Thoughts on January 22nd. January 22nd is getting kinda loaded here. Tindersticks is releasing The Waiting Room, and Tortoise is releasing The Catastrophist. Tricky has Skilled Mechanics on January 22nd, and Ty Segall has Emotional Mugger on the same day. Finally, the last two for January 22nd are Ulver with ATGCLVLSSCAP and Yoko Ono with Yes, I'm a Witch Too. Next up is January 29th, which will see Avantasia with Ghostlights and Basement with Promise Everything. Black Tusk is releasing Pillars of Ash on January 29th, and Block Party releases Hymes. It's been a long 5 months without him, friends, but Charlie Puth is releasing 9-track Mind on January 29th. Harriet has American Appetite coming out on January 29th, and Money has Suicide Songs. The release date for Kevin Gates' album Isla was moved to January 29th. Nightbeats is coming out with Who Sold My Generation, and Prong X has No Absolutes, both on January 29th. January 29th will also see Turn Break's album Lost Property and Sia's This Is Acting. Finally, the official date has yet to be determined, but Chairlift will be releasing their new album Moth sometime this month. This issue's featured website is huge, and I mean huge. Noise Trade is one of the best places to discover music. The moment you enter the website, or any genre page, a slideshow at the top of the page scrolls through different featured artists. Sounds super generic, right? However, if you pay close enough attention, you'll see a section on the bottom right of the photo that says For Fans Of. For example, one of the artists that I checked out was Daphne Willis, because it said For Fans Of Jason Mraz, Adele, and Meghan Trainor, amongst others. Scrolling down on the front page, you can see the new and notable, top downloads, and most recent downloads. Oh, did I not mention that? Noise Trade keeps in line with my track of free music, only it provides a whole new take on the process. Artists choose to put their music up on the site, and they basically use it as free advertising. What better way to create a following than offering free downloads? That being said, you do have the option of tipping the artist, and a recommended amount is given, though I have yet to further explore this feature. You can create an account for easy downloading, easy tipping, and saved songs. Plus, if you're looking for recommendations based on a certain artist, type their name into the search bar and browse. To make it even better, the website has a book section that functions much in the same way. Noise Trade. Take music to a whole new level. In the spirit of the new year, I decided to try something a little new for this issue's recommendations. Thanks to Spotify, I was able to make a rough summary of my year in music, though I did try to keep it short. To start us off is the first track I played this year, which was, apparently, The World Is Going Up in Flames by Charles Bradley. It's funny because I don't actually remember ever hearing this song, but after listening to it again, I can definitely say that it's right up my alley. It's funk and R&B with an almost classic rock sort of vibe, like most of the other songs that you'd find in an episode of Suits. I must admit, I was rather surprised by my top artist. The first one is Christian Kane, who tops the list with 189 streams, which may or may not have been the same song. The following in order are Mercy Stone, Divinals, Bleachers, and General Fuzz. Since this was the only song I listened to at the beginning of the year, Christian Kane's LA song is my most streamed track with 189 listens. Oops. It's rare to find a song that can marry good vocals with good music and still get that inherently melancholy feeling. My other top tracks are Burn by Ellie Goulding, Howlin' For You by the Black Keys, Raise Your Glass by Pink, and Who I Am by Mercy Stone. Oh, the memories. Finally, to bring it all together with some statistics, I listened to 898 different artists, 1,616 different tracks, and 19,000 minutes worth of music, which translates to 310 hours. If you want to find your year in music, go to yearinmusic.spotify.com. Well now, that's all for me this time around, but if you want to suggest some of your favorite songs or share your own year in music, you can do so over at chsradio.tumblr.com/ask. You can also keep an eye on our Spotify to find the songs featured in this show. Finally, if you want to keep up with my personal music shenanigans, you can follow me on last.fm as LlamaLlama33. Happy New Year, everyone! Stick around for I'll Stay Gone by Ashley Maire Lewis.
Saw a line in front of me and wondered how to get there. The road you take could sometimes lead to a path that's so unfair, but suddenly Oh, it's different now. I'm going my own way, and there's nothing left that you can do to get me to stay. So watch my tires spinning in the dust. That smoke cloud represents what's left of us. There's a reason for the seasons that I've spent with you, and now I wanna thank you for everything you've put me through. I said goodbye and now my sky's a brighter shade of blue. I dried up all my tears and now I'm finally moving on. And I'll stay gone. So now all I've got are memories of a better time before. That girl you knew from yesterday, well, she ain't that girl no more. She made up her mind, yeah, and walked away. With nothing but a smile now. She's not looking back, no, she never will, 'cause she forgot that town. So watch my tires spinning in the dust. That smoke cloud represents what's left of us. There's a reason for the seasons that I spent with you, and now I wanna thank you for everything you've put me through. I said goodbye and now my sky's a brighter shade of blue. I dried up all my tears and now I'm finally moving on. And I'll stay gone. She's not thinking about it. She likes living without it. Yeah, she's making her mark now, and she's getting there somehow. So watch my tires spinning in the dust. That smoke cloud represents what's left of us. There's a reason for the seasons that I spent with you, and now I wanna thank you for everything you put me through. I said goodbye and now my sky's a brighter shade of blue. I dried up all my tears and now I'm finally moving on. And I'll stay gone. I wanna thank you for everything you put me through. I said goodbye and now my sky's a brighter shade of blue. I dried up all my tears and now I'm finally moving on. And I'll stay gone. Ooh, I'll stay gone.
We hope you have enjoyed this edition of CHS Radio and will tune in next month on the first Tuesday of the month for the next episode. If you like this episode or we tickled your funny bone, you can find more of us on our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Google Plus as CHS_radio. We thank you for listening, and as always, I'm your host, Victoria, and this is CHS Radio. Bye, guys.
The information in today's podcast was gathered from ibtimes.com, marcorubio.com, US Magazine, refinery29.com, hillaryclinton.com, eOnline, cinemablend.com, Wikipedia, donaldjtrump.com, Spotify, berniesanders.com, and Real Clear Politics.
In spirit of the new year, I decided to scroll way down on my script. Oops.
Campaigns for the 2016 U.S. President.
Eleanor Friedberger releases That's literally fried burger.
And Merton O'Malley.
Without a doubt, we have been.
Wet is voiced by Elijah Wood, and Greg is the actual most adorable thing on earth. And so is Kitty.
Without a doubt, we have been knee deep. We are knee deep. We have been knee deep. We are knee deep. We are not have been. We have been knee deep. Yes, in past elections we have been knee deep at this time, but now we are present tense, not past tense.
The official date has yet to be determined, but Chairlift will be releasing their new album Moth sometime this month. Hello, Voice. I mean, goodbye, Voice. See you never.
I hope you guys injured.
Kitty is the best.
I stopped. I couldn't speak. I was just like, I'm gonna speak. No, I'm not. In this I started way too early.
And for the final bit of news, they've already started building this. And for the
In celebration of this new year, CHS Radio... I need a comma! I didn't know. I was gonna... That sentence... That doesn't make any sense. The people can't see what I'm looking at. This episode is the first... First episode, not episode. My tongue got stuck on my mouth. Yeah, 'cause that makes sense. My tongue got stuck on my mouth. Yeah, okay.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Bursting into song during recording is not good for the voice. Unless you're on The Voice. Oh. Yeah.